In my 4-year-long Godbound campaign, there was a combat that stood out for my players. They were inside an underground fortress, fighting against the Architects of Madness, the Prague Sisters, demented twins who were able to control the dungeon at their whim. So players weren't only fighting the sisters, but they were also fighting against the environment. They were trapped by falling cages, isolated by moving walls, or separated by crumbling grounds. Just as enemies, the sisters were probably weak and uninspired, but the combat location made that encounter amazing. Hello and welcome to RPG Tips. I am Jose, and this is a very special video for me. I am actually going to present to you my first product, a booklet called the Terrain Randomizer. It is a tool intended for solo role-playing, GM-less games, and game masters who, like me, struggle to create interesting combat environments for the games. Because fights can be vastly improved when they are set up in an interesting location, and we see this time and time again in different media. For instance, in The Lord of the Rings, when the company is in Moria, the door that they are protecting creates a chokehold for a few moments. Frodo uses the columns to distract the troll, and, well, let's say that the fight against the Balrog would have been quite different for Gandalf if there hadn't been that bridge. So what does the Terrain Randomizer contain? Well, it contains two modules that together will assist us in creating interesting encounters: the Zone Generator and the Terrain Decorator. The Zone Generator, the first module, is a dice drop method to create a map of your encounter divided in zones, a concept which has been used in several games like Fate or Index Card role-playing game. Each of them characterized by a short description that you can generate using any of the typical solo tools for that. For those of you that may not be familiar with this kind of tools, I've also included a list of my favorite ones and some tips and advice on how to use them, so you're not too lost when reading this part. Using the Zone Generator, we end up with a three-dimensional dynamic environment, which is usually everything that we need to define specific mechanics, effects, and to have flavor and tactical options in our combat. But some combats deserve even more attention than that. The duel between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, or the fight between Neo and Agent Smith at the end of Matrix. It is in those cases when we can use the second module that the Terrain Randomizer offers, the Terrain Decorator. This module introduces decorations, features that interact with the specific mechanics of the RPG you are playing and that will offer us interesting tactical choices. There are three types of decorations: hazards, which will be things that will harm the characters; blocks, things that will hinder movement in any way; and distractions, things that will make us consider if it's worth it to keep whacking at the enemy or to do something else. With this module, you can generate several decorations that will spice up the encounter very easily and with minimal creative input, as there are 4 random tables included that will help you fleshing out these decorations. So let's see an example of how this works. In episode 8 of Stories of Bardoba, my solo role-playing campaign, Vesna, the brave warrior, fought against a wolf in some creepy forested hills. When I played that combat, I used my map, but there were no interesting tactical choices in it. The wolf and Vesna just hacked away at each other until poor Vesna had to flee. Well, I applied the Terrain Randomizer to that scene, and I ended up with this. This is a drop dice map that I got with 3 zones. The red one is the dense forest with the wolf's caves on the right part. The black one is a muddy path at a lower elevation than the others, which would make changing zones a difficult task. And the blue one has 2 black mysterious obelisks carved with runes. That is just what the Zone Generator gave me. Then I also applied a Terrain Decorator and I added 2 decorations. The first one is the corpse of an adventurer in the cave's entrance with an ornate net that would either help us fight a wolf or probably get us some gold at the market. And number 2, an area with overgrown vines to the left, inside the forest, which would damage anybody that entered it. And just like that, we went from a flat surface with no interesting features to a flavorful and tactical environment in which we would have to make difficult choices and we could employ the terrain in our advantage. Simple and easy. And that's the Terrain Randomizer. I really hope you like it. The only caveat I see with it is its dependence on being able to interpret abstract descriptions, but it is something that may seem a bit strange at first if you're not used to it. But if that's the case for you, I really encourage you to try it, because it is an invaluable tool that can help you with all your creative work in RPGs, and in fact it will bolster your improvisation muscle to really new levels. And if, of course, you need any kind of support or would like to discuss the Terrain Randomizer with me, you can drop a comment below. You can find me on Twitter at RPG_tips, or you should drop by the Mythic Game Master Emulator Discord community, where we discuss anything and everything solo and GM-less related. So again, I really hope you like the Terrain Randomizer. It is just a bit more than $2, so it won't break your bank. But especially, I hope that it's as useful for you as it has been for me. Bye bye.